The VITA Linearguide 3D Master is a new design of the 3D Master Shade Guide. When the Shade Guide box is opened, there is a value guide located at the top. The value guide contains a shade tab representing each of the 6 value levels present in the guide. The available value levels are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Below the value guide, there are 5 additional guides, with each one containing all the chroma and hue variations available for each value level. These guides are known as chroma hue guides. The first hue chroma guide contains the 3 available chroma and hue variations for the 0 value group and the 2 chroma and hue variations available for the number 1 value group. The second hue chroma guide contains 7 specimens with the same value but with hue chroma variations. The third hue chroma guide also has 7 samples, as does the fourth hue chroma guide. The fifth and last hue chroma guide has 3 samples. The shade selection process begins by holding the value guide below the teeth to be matched. It is moved from side to side to identify the closest value group or groups. For this patient, value levels 1 and 2 are both close to the natural teeth. Squinting the eyes restricts the amount of light entering the eye and enhances the perception of value. It can be helpful in differentiating between 2 value levels that are close to each other. Value level 2 appears to be the best group in terms of lightness and darkness. The patient is instructed to close their lips together and moisten the teeth by running their tongue over the front of the teeth. The value level 1 and 2 samples are removed from the value guide and compared with the moistened teeth using a short duration comparison of 5 seconds or less to confirm that value level 2 is the preferred value. Further confirmation is made by individually comparing the value level 1 specimen with the natural teeth and then the value level 2 specimen with the natural teeth. The next step in the shade selection process is to place the hue chroma guide containing all the value 2 level specimens below the anterior teeth. The hue chroma guide is moved from side to side below the maxillary incisors to identify the area of the guide that most closely approximates the natural teeth. 3 specimens appear to have a reasonably close match, that is the 2M2, the 2L1.5, and the 2R1.5 samples. The 2M1 tab is judged to not have sufficient pigmentation, and the other 3 specimens on the right side appear to have too much pigmentation. The 3 possible hue chroma samples are held below the central incisors. The 2L1.5 sample is on the left, the 2R2.5 is in the middle, and the 2M2 specimen is located on the right. The specimens are also compared at a closer distance. The right-hand shade tab, 2M2, is judged to be the best match. It should be noted that placing a shade tab over a natural tooth can alter its true appearance because the natural shadows of the oral cavity are no longer available to serve as the background. The patient remoistens the teeth, and then the preferred 2M2 shade tab is held below the maxillary incisor to validate it as the best choice. While the 2L1.5 tab is a relatively close match, as is the 2R1.5 sample, there is a slight preference for the 2M2 shade tab. The preferred 2M2 shade tab is then inverted for comparison of the incisal aspect of the shade tab with the incisal aspect of the central incisor. It can be noted that the shade tab has more incisal translucency than the natural teeth. A close-up digital image of this comparison should be made and sent to the dental laboratory along with the shade tab used in the selection process so the technician can create the appropriate amount of incisal translucency. A close-up view of the 2M2 shade tab with the natural tooth allows a comparison to be made of the surface detail and the gloss that should be present on a ceramic restoration. A digital image should be made of this relationship and sent to the dental laboratory. Close-up, high-resolution digital images of the natural teeth are helpful for technicians so they can create the appropriate internal characteristics such as craze lines, areas of increased incisal translucency, and areas of opacity in the incisal aspect of the teeth. The close-up digital images supplement the digital images made of the preferred shade tab at a more normal viewing distance.